Troops intercept ISWAP logistics consignment in Borno. 12 killed, 2 injured in Kogi auto crash. Police arrest mother in Delta for selling 2-month-old baby. Away from Nigeria, Benin detains ex-defense minister over foiled coup. Good evening, this is news updates on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Ramafo. Thank you for joining us. South security matters where troops of Sector 2 Joint Task Force Northeast working with the Civilian Joint Task Force have intercepted logistics supplies suspected to be destined for ISWAP terrorists in Borno State. The operation, carried out on credible intelligence, led to the seizure of 2 pickup vans along the route from Dapchi in Yobe State to the Magumiri area. Items recovered included vehicles, spare tires and rims, bicycles, mobile phones, cash and various household goods. The drivers are currently in military custody for further questioning as investigators continue to determine the extent of their involvement. Lieutenant Colonel Sanuba, the JTF spokesperson, said the operation reflects the troops' ongoing commitment to denying terrorists freedom of movement, cutting off supply chains and ensuring the safety of citizens across the Northeast. Troops of Operation Heading K have uncovered an improvised explosive device along the Dambo-Komola Road and arrested 2 suspected logistics suppliers to Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State. According to Lieutenant Colonel Sanuba, the IED was discovered on December 17 during a main supply route patrol and safely detonated by troops protecting both soldiers and civilians. In a separate operation on December 19, troops intercepted a Lagos-registered vehicle along the Maiduguri-Bama Road, carrying large quantities of food and energy drinks believed to be intended for Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists in Goza local government area. The military high command has commended the troops for their efforts and urged them to maintain operational vigilance in the fight against terrorism in the Northeast. The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC has confirmed the death of 12 persons, with 2 others injured in an auto crash that occurred on Friday along the Ejule-Enugu Highway in Kogi. Tinubu Etuku, FRSC Sector Commander in Kogi, disclosed this while speaking with newsmen in Lokoja on Saturday. The crash involved an 18-seater Toyota Hiace bus belonging to Ramchi Mass Transit en route from Abuja to eastern Nigeria, which rammed into a parked Ford articulated vehicle. FRSC says overspeeding was a factor. Rescue teams rushed the injured to Mercy of Jesus Hospital in Ijule, while the deceased were taken to the morgue. FRSC officials have warned motorists against excessive speed and reckless driving, extending condolences to the families of the victims. A female Lagos Waste Management Authority lawma sweeper has died after being struck by a commercial vehicle on Meron Road, Lagos. The accident occurred Saturday along the Iyano-Ikuru axis when a blue Ford bus laden with beverages was recklessly reversing and hit the victim, who was performing routine sanitation duties. The driver reportedly attempted to flee but was quickly apprehended by Lagos State Traffic Management Authority LASMA officers with the help of bystanders and handed over to the Meron Police Division for investigation. LASMA General Manager Olaliko Bakare described the incident as preventable, expressing deep sorrow over the loss and extending condolences to the family and colleagues of the deceased. The victims' remains were evacuated by Loma officials for further procedures. Away from that, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has unsealed Ikeja Electric PLC's headquarters after the company committed to a binding undertaking to address consumer rights violations. The DSCO's offices were initially sealed on December 11, 2025 for failing to comply with a directive from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to unbundle a maximum demand account into 20 individual accounts for a customer who had been without power for over 2.5 years. FCCPC said Ikeja Electric will resolve all consumer complaints referred to it within agreed timelines, warning that any breach could trigger renewed enforcement under the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. Executive Vice Chairman Tunji Bello emphasized that the intervention ensures fair treatment for consumers while reflecting the Commission's balanced regulatory approach. In Delta State, the police command has arrested a woman, Rita Uwale, for allegedly selling her 2-month-old baby to a couple, Osas and Judith Umijie, for 1.5 million naira. Spokesman for the command, SP Brighter Duffy, disclosed this to newsmen in Warri. Duffy said that the suspect, who was the mother of the infant, allegedly staged the abduction of the baby. He further said that the incident occurred on Monday within the Ekpanik Road in Uvie local government area of the state. Duffy explained that shortly after the incident, the suspect reported the matter at the Ekpan Police Division.
On the 15th of December 2025, this young lady here came to Ekpan Police Station and reported that her child was kidnapped at gunpoint. The DPO swung into action, dispatched about 6 patrol teams. They went around that Efrun area trying to see if they could get hold of these suspected kidnappers, according to her. But somewhere along the line, the DPO said, "Where is the father of this baby?" Then the father was summoned to the police station. That was where the DPO, being a very intelligent officer, started interrogating the father and the mother of the child before somehow, miraculously, the mother decided to open up. Guess what? The child was neither stolen nor kidnapped. She sold her child for 1.5 million naira, handed over the baby to the couple, came to the station with her 2 legs and reported that the child has been kidnapped.
In August 2024, farming communities in Danshoshiya Forest, Kilo local government area of Kano State, protested against alleged attempts by developers to seize their farmlands. For decades, these farmers have helped curb armed robbery and kidnapping, contributing to local security and stability. Abdulaziz Ibrahim tells us more in this report.
Following the protest, the Kano State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources convened a stakeholders' engagement to address community concerns and build trust around upcoming agricultural development projects. The Permanent Secretary, Dr. Bashir Sanusi, representing the Commissioner, emphasized that the engagement aims to allay fears of displacement. He explained that the dam and irrigation facilities will strengthen food security, enable dry season farming and boost incomes and livelihoods.
In preparation of dam construction and mighty irrigation facility infrastructure, and also construction of 10.5 kilometer road and 3.5 access road to this facility. That is why we are here to sensitize people, to meet with stakeholders, to meet with beneficiaries and tell them about this mighty project that is coming to them.
Executive Chairman of Kiru Local Government, Abdullahi Saidu, noted that while progress is being made, this dialogue is crucial to prevent future friction between developers and farmers. He assured the community that the government will prioritize dialogue and inclusiveness.
We will try all what we can do in our own side. The local government will do all what we do to make sure this Judgment war is successful. We will try all our possible best, I and our council, to make sure this work is very, very successful.
Community leader Yusuf Harisu Dagachindangora said the talks have reduced apprehension but called on the government to provide additional infrastructure. The masses, religious and traditional leaders all in attendance today expressed happiness over the project, and we call on them to support the project. However, We appeal to the government to help construct more infrastructure like bridges to make it easier for us to move our farm produce. Irrigation projects in northern Nigeria have proven to increase agricultural output, enable dry season farming and drive inclusive development. The Dan-Social forest projects are expected to enhance agriculture while thoughtfully balancing community needs. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Two more stories. Across Nigeria, inter-ethnic relationships, once a defining strength of the nation's diversity, is facing increasing strain. Rising ethnic bigotry, political manipulation, insecurity, and economic pressures are testing bonds between communities that have long lived and worked together. Speaking to residents on the streets of Lagos, many say unity begins with good character and understanding other cultures. Here's more.
Inter-ethnic relationships in Nigeria are increasingly understained, driven by rising ethnic bigotry, political manipulation, insecurity, and competition for limited resources. For decades, Nigerians from different ethnic backgrounds formed marriages, built businesses, and maintained friendships that transcended languages, culture, and geography. These bonds symbolized unity in a nation of diverse ethnic groups. Today, however, many of these relationships are being tested, while ethnic divisions have deepened in some areas. Positive interactions such as inter-ethnic marriages, business partnerships, and long-standing friendships continue to exist. Speaking with residents of Lagos, many express the view that peaceful coexistence depends less on tribe and more on character, mutual respect, and willingness to understand one another's culture, including learning different local languages.
Like for me, I'm from Yoruba. My mom is Akwa Ibom State, and my husband also is a Yoruba man. So because I speak the both language, I speak Akwa Ibom, also speak Yoruba. So it helps me to to communicate with both families without hatred.
I am a Christian, and I have seen some Muslims that are better than some Christians that I know, that I feel like I will feel comfortable doing things with them than even doing it to my fellow Christians. So when it comes to the issue of tribes, I don't go along with tribes in choosing my friends, and I don't go along with religion in choosing my friends, because to me, your religion is just what you believe. It's not your character. It's what you believe. And I think all religion we have will not tell you to go and do evil. So evil is in the mind of the evildoer.
In the beginning, they tend to love you so much. They tend to want you to understand the language immediately. And, if you are not moving fast the way they want you to do, the isolation will surely come.
As Nigeria confronts growing social and political challenges, many believe the future of inter-ethnic relationship lies in good character, mutual understanding and respect across ethnic lines, values seen as essential for sustaining national unity.
The Nigerian Customs Service, Ogun 1 Area Command, Iduroko border, has intercepted large consignments of hard drugs being smuggled into the country. The seizures include 16 kilograms of heroin and 12 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine. The Customs Area Controller disclosed this while briefing journalists on the activities of the command. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi tells us more.
The acting area controller of the Ogunwang Area Command, Deputy Controller Oladapo Afeni, said the narcotics were intercepted in 6 intelligence-driven operations carried out between December 4 and December 15, 2025, across different locations in Ogun State.
The seizure of narcotics, being crystal meth, heroin, and cannabis sativa, is particularly worrisome, given their far-reaching impact on our youth, public health, and national security.
Afeni explained that the seizures include 16 rafts of heroin, weight 16 kilograms, and 11 rafts of crystal meth, also known as ice, weight 12 kilograms. He put the duty payable value of the seizure at 463 million naira. He added that Other hard drug intercepted include cannabis sativa of various sizes, comprised of 128 doughnut-sized units, 2,752 coconut-sized units, and 401 booklet-sized units, with a combined weight of 1,502 kilograms. Afeni described the seizure as worrisome, citing their negative impact on youth, public health, and national security.
Danger in these food items finding their way to the open market lies in consuming substandard products that have not been subjected to health checks and declared fit for consumption by relevant agencies in Nigeria. It may interest you to know that the unscrupulous tradesmen deliberately smuggle in substandard food items and profit on the health risk of non-suspecting Nigerians. The trucks and the content therein all stand to be forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria in line with extant laws and guidelines.
The acting controller also disclosed that on December 12, 2025, operatives of the command intercept an Iveco truck with registration number RMY 354XA conveying 4,998 cartons of foreign pasta, Doga brand spaghetti, and 419 cartons of Oba brand spaghetti, all weighing 10 kilograms each, illegally imported from Turkey. The seized narcotics were handed over to the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency.
I hereby take over, acknowledge the taking over of these various type of exhibits seized by Nigerian Customs Service Ogun 1. It's a great achievement because a seizure that involved different types of drugs, it was a commendation.
The NDLEA commander assured continued collaboration with the Nigerian Customs Service to combat illicit drug trafficking and protect the nation's youth. The Custom Area Controller reaffirmed the command's commitment to tackling smuggling activities. From Idiroko border axis in Ogun State, Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV.
In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed all banks and financial institutions to implement multi-factor authentication for foreign-issued card transactions. The requirement applies to withdrawals and online payments above $200 daily, $500 weekly, or $1,000 monthly, or their Naira equivalents. The move aims to improve transactions security and enhance convenience for tourists and Nigerians returning from the diaspora. Banks and merchants are also required to maintain robust fraud monitoring systems, ensure ATMs and payment terminals meet global standards, and settle foreign card transactions strictly in Naira. The CBN stressed transparency, requiring institutions to clearly communicate exchange rates and associated charges before transactions. Suspicious transactions must be reported promptly and consumer complaints resolved within approved timelines. The regulator also mandated regular merchant training on dispute resolution, chargebacks, and fraud prevention to ensure seamless, secure foreign card usage nationwide. To the foreign scene, where in Benin Republic, the country has placed former defense minister and opposition politician Kandide Azania in pretrial detention over a foiled early December coup. Azania, arrested last week at his party's headquarters in Cotonou, faces charges of plotting against the state and incitement to rebellion. His detention comes after around 30 people, mostly soldiers, were jailed for treason in connection with the attempted takeover on December 7. Soldiers announced on national television that they had toppled President Patrice Talon, but loyalist forces, with support from the Nigerian Air Force, quickly defeated the coup. Several people were killed and some alleged ringleaders remain at large. Azania, who condemned the coup, was escorted to Benin's anti-terrorism court for questioning before being taken into custody at dawn. President Talon, credited with economic growth, faces criticism over crippling authoritarianism as he prepares to leave office in April after 2 terms. The Africa Cup of Nations will now be staged every 4 years, with the next edition planned for 2028. African football chief Patrice Motsepe announced on Saturday. The Confederation of African Football says the change is part of a major restructuring to better fit African football into the crowded global calendar. While AFCON every 2 years generated revenue for national associations, Motsepe explained that a new annual African Nations League, similar to Europe's UEFA Nations League, will now help boost funds instead. Since its inception in 1957, AFCON has traditionally been held every 2 years, but in the past 15 years, it has struggled to find a convenient slot internationally. This year's tournament in Morocco will be the 8th since 2012, when the event was hosted in Equatorial Guinea and Gabon. And that concludes news updates at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, do want to follow us on social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I'm Shama Kalwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good evening.